I didn't have a dryer, and the only heat source in the house would be a space heater. I would then lay my clothes over the space heater, go to sleep, and just pray that my clothes would be dry for the next day, but also that the house wouldn't burn down. Hey guys, today I want to talk about this concept that's found in my book. It's called Be the Someone. Before I get into that, I think it's appropriate to tell you a little more about my personal testimony. A little bit about me. I come from a long family history of poverty. And what do I mean by poverty? Poverty is simply the lack of resources. And we can talk a little bit more about those particular resources, but I grew up in extreme poverty, drug and alcohol abuse ran in my family for years. We never emphasized education. I also come from a long family history of physical and verbal abuse, neglect, abandonment. Speaking of abandonment, I was the same age that my son is now when my parents abandoned me to be raised by my grandparents, which I don't think is all that uncommon, especially nowadays. I was 4 years old. I look at my son now and I think, how in the world could they have walked away? I may never fully understand that, but my parents had a lot of issues, especially with mental illness and drug abuse. Here I am, 4 years old, when my grandparents took us in. There's me, and at the time I had 4 brothers. Later, my mom had another son, but they took us in, kept us together, out of the system, thankfully. You see, Child Protective Services were on my mom's heels, and they were about to have to take us away. Very thankful for our grandparents for taking us in. Fast forward, when I'm 17, I actually become a homeless youth. But not a lot of people knew that. I didn't tell a lot of people. Here I am bouncing around wherever I can sleep. I knew that education was going to be my ticket out of poverty. I did not miss school. A couple of things here. If you happen to show a student this video, don't give them any ideas, but I did get very creative by forging, I'm sorry, Mamaw, if you see this, forging my grandmother's signature because I was underage for the bus route. Back then, to get on a different bus route, you had to have parents' permission. I would forge my grandmother's signature, and I memorized all of the different bus routes for our county. Oftentimes, I would stay at a friend's house or something, or maybe even a distant family member that didn't have a washer or dryer. What I would do, because I only had one outfit, maybe 2, and I would try to mix and match that up or borrow clothes. With no washer or dryer, I would wash the clothes in the sink by hand with a bar of soap. And then I didn't have a dryer, and the only heat source in the house would be a space heater. I would then lay my clothes over the space heater. Oh yeah. And go to sleep and just pray a couple of things. One, that my clothes would be dry for the next day, but also that the house wouldn't burn down. So, to catch you up, that's a little bit about me and where I came from. Now, back to this idea of be the someone. So what do I mean by that? Well, there's 3 main points that I want to talk about today. The first one is be the someone that sees others. You see, I did my best to hide what I was going through. I was broken, I was scared, I was alone, and I can't help but think that there are many others like me. Especially around that age, right? That crucial age, 16 to 18. So I want to encourage you to be the someone that sees. Peel back the onion, and you may just find out that they're broken like the rest of us, and they need someone to see them. I know I did. Now, number 2, be the someone that believes in others. I want to tell you just a quick story of the opposite of that. So here I am, 17 years old. The night I was kicked out of my grandparents' house and became homeless, my grandfather looked at me and said, "That's right. Get out of my house. you're going to end up just like the rest of your family. You won't graduate high school, you'll never have a job, and you'll come crawling back. Well, he didn't believe in me that night. Later, thankfully he did before he passed, but that night I did believe in myself. I had a few people that did believe in me. And thankfully, even a few more key folks came along the way and believed in me. If you're watching this, you know who you are and you made the difference. The last concept I want to talk about today is be the someone that has just unrealistic expectations for others. Let me tell you a quick story. So I'm 12, maybe 13 years old, sitting in a church house. As I'm sitting there, I'm just singing along with the choir that's up front. There's this elderly lady that's sitting in front of me. And she does one of these like half turns. You know, she puts her elbow on the church pew and she turns around and she says, "Son, you just have the nicest voice. You should go sing with the choir." And of course, me being a 12 or 13-year-old, I'm like, "Lady, there ain't no way. Don't say that." But I just say thank you, but no thank you. A few songs go by and she turns around again. Now, keep in mind, I don't know this lady. I don't know her from Eve. And this time she turns all the way around. She locks in eye contact with me and she says, "Son, God has great plans for your life. I don't know what they are, but he wanted me to let you know that today." Come on. Hit me like a ton of bricks, right? Weirded me out just a bit. She did not have to do that. But God put it on her heart and it made an impact. Here we are 17, 18 years later, and I still remember that moment. I don't know the woman's name. Hey, I don't even know if she's still living. But she made such a huge impact on me. And I've been trying to live up to that lady's expectations of me ever since. I want to encourage you today. Be the someone that sees, believes, and has unrealistic expectations of others. Not only to have expectations of them, but to share those with a person. You never know what impact you may have on someone, especially a young person during a crucial time in their life. With that being said, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, and remember, keep sharing stories. See you in the next episode.